never read my own Wikipedia entry, not one time, because I don't
blame you.
Don't want to go crazy because I am an expert on that subject. So I feel like I could probably compare their description to what I know to be true, and it would just make me angry, and I don't want to be angry. But I have no doubt that it's hostile, right?
It'd piss you off.
Oh, is that true?
Oh, yeah, I'm pretty sure.
Have you read it?
I think I've read the first paragraph anyway.
Pretty tough, huh?
I think so.
You know what? I'm not just saying this. Anyone who knows me knows it's true. I've never done this before, but I'm going to look it up right now, and I'm just going to read the first paragraph.
This should
I promise I've never. I don't even know where it is. Oh, there it is, right there. Huh? Oh, I knew I was going to. This is the first paragraph. It basically just says, I'm a conservative political commentator. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I'm a leading voice of white grievance politics.
White grievance politics.
Okay, I thought I was going to be mad. I'm amused. I don't even know what that is. White grievance politics. Okay, so then you click on white grievance politics, and it cites columnist Michael Gerson, who I happen to know. Not someone who I think has passed away. I'm sorry. I don't want to make fun of him. But he's not he was an ideologue, okay, big time ideologue. And it quotes his quote, non-primary source needed, it says in brackets, that the Republican Party has been swiftly repositioned as an instrument of white grievance. I guess it was a column attacking me. No doubt about that. So they call me in the first paragraph a leading voice of white grievance politics. Not how I describe myself. I've never thought of myself that way. I don't really care. And in order to call me, basically they're calling me a Nazi, of course. They cite a Washington Post columnist who hated me.
Right.
And that's the citation?
Right. Yes. That's pretty much it. If they were following a genuine neutrality policy, then they might say that if that was what your detractors were really focused on, and perhaps it is, but they would certainly quote you in response to that.
And they would give examples. I mean, it wouldn't be ad hominem. It would be, quoting me saying, white people are angry. We have a lot of grievances and they're justified. Okay. There he is, espousing white grievance politics.
Right. Yeah.
I don't think I've done that, though I do think that, by the way. So maybe I am a white grievance politics guy. But whatever. I don't even care. But it's just interesting. They don't care either. The point is to make you sound scary and Hitler-like.
Right. No, that's right. Yeah. I don't know what white grievance politics is, and I'm pretty sure you're not into it. I'm
actually not into it.
Yeah.
I mean, I do think white people have been completely mistreated, and they have every reason to be mad about it, but I don't want anyone to be mad about anything, and I definitely don't want racial conflict. I've never wanted that.
Yes.
So, but whatever, but it's not about me, and I'm sort of sorry I even brought that up.
No,
and that's all I'm ever going to read in my Wikipedia entry. But that's kind of the point. How is it allowed to use subjective terms with no clear definition in someone's entry? That's a political term. That's a term of propaganda.
Yeah.
It's a term designed to discredit, not to illuminate or explain, but to attack. That's very common in political language, if that is political language. But how is that? How is no editor like, wait a second, we don't even define white grievance politics. How can we accuse someone of engaging in it?
Yeah. There's a lot of history and we could take it in many different directions. Okay. I mean, we've already talked about the policy that permits it. We could also talk about the sources that are permitted. Like, if you look at only the sources that are permitted to be used in Wikipedia, so mostly secondary sources, and they are mostly left-wing or center, generally speaking, there is now a blacklist called the Perennial Sources page that contains lists of dozens of conservative sources that are just not allowed. And so if the only defenders of Tucker Carlson can be found in those other sources, then you won't be defended in the article about you, and they will call the article about you neutral.
We're sorry to say it, but this is not a very safe country. Walk through Oakland or Philadelphia. Yeah, good luck. So most people, when they think about this, want to carry a firearm, and a lot of us do. The problem is there can be massive consequences for that. Ask Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse got off in the end, but he was innocent from the first moment. It was obvious on video, and he was facing life in prison anyway. That's what the anti-gun movement will do. They'll throw you in prison for defending yourself with a firearm. And that's why a lot of Americans are turning to Byrna. It's a proudly American company. Byrna makes self-defense launchers that hundreds of law enforcement departments trust. They've sold over 600,000 pistols, mostly to private citizens who refuse to be empty-handed. These pistols, and I have one, fire rock-hard kinetic rounds or tear gas rounds and pepper projectiles, and they stop a threat from up to 60 feet away. There are no background checks. There are no waiting periods. Byrna can ship it directly to your door. You can't be arrested for defending yourself with a Byrna pistol. Visit Byrna, BYRNA.com, or your local Sportsman's Warehouse to get yours today. Byrna.com.
That's quite amazing. Who makes the decision on the blacklist?
So there is a reliable sources group, essentially, that debates it. Now, there are people who spend the most time, probably are working full-time for somebody on Wikipedia. They build up a lot of clout.
What does that mean, working full-time for somebody on Wikipedia?
Well, there are PR firms, just for example, that do nothing but edit articles on Wikipedia in order to be able to insert desired factoids according to how people pay them, essentially. So it's a thing. Oh, yes, Wikipedia PR firms, essentially. And this is not allowed officially. It's called paid editing, a big no-no. And if you do it, then you have to announce yourself. A lot of people do it and they don't announce themselves, of course. So my point then, to answer your question, is that there are a lot of people who have built up clout over the years in the Wikipedia system. And a lot of them have been made into the leaders of the project. There are 833 administrators, as they're called. So these are sort of the rank and file cops. Mm-hmm. And then you've got 16 bureaucrats who can name the cops. And you've got 49 check users, and these are accounts that can identify the IP address of accounts. And then there are 15 members of an arbitration committee, which is sort of like the Supreme Court of Wikipedia. Deals mostly with behavioral issues as opposed to editorial. So now, here's an interesting...
Do we know who these people are?
That's what I was about to answer. Of this Power 62, because if you add up all of those accounts and there's overlap, there's 62 such accounts. Only 14.5% are named. So 85% of the most powerful accounts on Wikipedia, on the editorial side, are anonymous. So,
wait a second.
No, it's true.
So again, these are the people who are shaping Americans' understanding of the world, of their own country, of themselves, of reality itself.
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know who they are because their identities are hidden?
That's correct. Yes. They can libel people with impunity as they do you.
Wow.
And there is no legal recourse because they are anonymous. And the Wikimedia Foundation enjoys Section 230 immunity, which means it can't be sued in the United States.
So my question is, there's nothing that can be done. They're protected by 230 immunity.
Yeah.
So they can't be sued into better behavior.
Right.
But presumably they can be shamed and reasoned with. And the first step in that is just asking the question, on what grounds are you keeping the identities of some of the most powerful people in the country secret? Why can't I know who's making these decisions? Who's blacklisting entire news organizations on the basis of their politics, for example? Who's responsible for the slander? Why can't I know their names? What would Wikipedia, the foundation, say if I asked that question?
They would say that according to the policies of the editorial side of their organization, which they're not responsible for, people can participate anonymously at all levels, right? So you could be the most powerful person on the editorial side, and you don't need to reveal your identity. It's a matter of policy. Now,
Talk about a non-answer. They're hiding their identities because they're allowed to. Okay, got it.
Well, yes.
Okay. But why are they allowed to?
Okay, so I think the answer is basically it goes back to like the zeitgeist of 1990s hacker culture when people went on like these funny names, nicknames, handles, not their real names. And that has continued. It never stopped. All across Wikipedia, people use these sort of cutesy names, and they like to portray themselves to the public as just, mop-wielding janitors of the site. And of course, it's ludicrous, right? But it's just, as far as I can tell, it's a game that they're playing. They're putting on the air of being like harmless college students that are only interested in comma placement and that sort of thing. So why do you need to know my identity and so forth? But I'll tell you, they just haven't pressed them on this question.
Well, and they should be pressed immediately. And I mean, because just in practical terms, as you said, it's ludicrous. Who has more effect on Americans or the world's understanding of history, the 7 history departments of the Ivy League or Wikipedia? It's not even close. It's not even close, not in the same universe.
Yes.
But if all of a sudden every history professor at Harvard, Yale, Princeton, Columbia, Dartmouth, Cornell, et cetera, decided, I'm not telling you my name as I teach your kids about the Renaissance or whatever, we would say that's freaking nuts. Of course you have to know your name.
Thanks for watching our YouTube channel. We hope you'll subscribe to it. And by the way, you can hit the little bell on there and get notifications every time we produce a video. We hope you'll do that also.